connection to LinkedIn and to this event. Hello, everyone. I think, but now we should be live. I'm very sorry for the delay. We had some technical issues and problems here. But first of all, very good morning to you out there, and to my dear colleague Jemsen. Hi, Jemsen. Good morning. Is it
Very,
now, Jemsen?
very good afternoon from Singapore.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Do you see, Jemsen? Is it working now or? Again, I'm sorry. We had some issues. I think you have to go to our LinkedIn company page, and then you should see it. I think we are live on our company page, but not on. I think the link to this event is not working. So that's the current issue. But Jimson, I would say, you see us?
Yeah, we're on live.
Very good. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Thank you so much for double checking. All right. Yeah, Jimson, I think we said it's like back in the old days. Currently, we have the problem that Jonas, who was supposed to be here, unfortunately, is not feeling good. So this is the reason why we have to take over. And Jemison, you will be the one who's responsible to show the practical parts, which is always very important for us to also highlight and show this here. Okay. Yeah. So, dear colleagues, maybe dear community, if someone is seeing this now as we had these issues, it would be super nice if you can just leave us a short comment, if you can see us, if you have access to this event. And that would be quite helpful and quite important for us. Okay. Jimson, I think today, as last webinar, we've been talking about the basic product line, the basic product category, the standard ones, and today it will be the plus ones. So when conditions get for the sampling system even tougher and rougher. So I'm very excited that we can, that you will share your knowledge in this field and about this. The next webinar, which we are planning, will be the webinar about the process. And process, in our definition, is really then the field of ATEX applications. Where even a safety aspect is very much relevant in selecting the right solutions and selecting the right products. Guys, this is very good to see. James, we have some message here that it's now working and we are online. Thank you so much. Good morning to the region, and great to have you in our webinar. Okay, Jemsen, as you are the Vice President Asia, part of our international team, let me also say hello to Antonio Mena, who's taking care of South America, and obviously also of Jose Luis, who is responsible for the Middle East. I'm pretty sure also these guys are joining, watching, and great to have you here. If any questions from the community, even after the event, feel free to contact obviously the Perfect Sample Gas team to support you. Okay. So, Jemsen, I think we have to really speed up as we want to transfer a lot of knowledge in this session. I think we already introduced last session basic, where we said it's only reliable products, but the configuration is a little bit more limited than what we will be talking today. And in comparison to the ATEX, more safety related discussions we will have in the next webinar, right? Jemson, I think that's your part to give a basic overview, because I see from the analysis, sometimes we really have new people joining here. So Jemson, maybe because it's your sentence, you always say there's not just one sample handling system. Maybe shortly describe what is the important thing here and what is the knowledge we want to transfer.
Yeah, this is the area which I always mention that, never be one shoe that fits all sizes. If it is one that we can do a pre-engineered systems that go around, then we do not need really a experienced system integration. And this is why in this webinar, I'd like to share a lots of my past experience. Now, starting from the sample probe, which is the first component only that component that is in the process, all right, in the process. So we have to get it right on the very first component, right? Subsequently, it draws the sample gas, and then we have filters, and then we're making sure that not only the dust has been removed, we ensure that it is above water dew point, and more importantly, it's above acid dew point, all right? And it's siphoned into the via through a sample heated line. Again, it is an area whereby we're going to do a webinar down on the downstream. And over here, this is an area where many people has overlooked about the blind spot of the heated line, long surface area all the way down to the gas cooler, which is all the way down to 3 degrees from 180 to 3. So this 3 component is the major heart of the whole components of the sampling system.
Right. Yeah, I think that gives a pretty good overview. When we start at the first point, Jimson, the plus gas sampling probe, the primary gas sampling. I mean, we often say our components in general are underestimated, but I think for the probe, it is even one of the components where people think, okay, it's just a filtration, yeah. And if I do something wrong in the primary probe sampling, it's not a big issue. I will probably just need to change the filter more often.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is so wrong, right? It's a little bit like when we compare to the information technology, when we talk about data. Yeah, I think there is a saying, I don't know the exact translation, but it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So if whatever comes into your funnel is garbage, you cannot expect that something good comes out. And I think this is always from the experience, and when we discuss with people, this is always the big point where they say, hey, if there is anything you can avoid having in your sample handling system in the first place, do it, yeah. Because that will reduce your issues and problems in a later stage, right? Is that also something, Jimson, you would confirm from your experience? And from
yes, we are going to add more as the slides goes along about calibrations, about let's move on. Come on, and I was so excited about the things that we have prepared.
Yeah, this is just the overview of the gas sampling of our 2 different type of probes. It either comes in this stainless steel protective housing, or there's the glass fiber protection for the ATEX version, right? Yeah. But here comes your part, James, and I think you're more.
So for the audience, is that the earlier slides you can see that there is a steel housing, a weather housing. They can also have a fiberglass housing. It really again depends on the specification and also the environment that's surrounding the sampling probe. So I just wanted to say that we have options. Now, back to the sample probe, that what are the unique value propositions of the Plus is that it has a 212 centimeter surface area, all right, which is one of the largest surface area. Why are we doing that? Is because we do not want people to go up to the stack, climbing up like a monkey, and then just to change one filter very often. All right. So this is why one of the reasons the big surface area is so important when choosing a sample probe. And the plus probe itself, this is an option from the emission probe that we have discussed in the last webinar. The plus probe has two back perch. All right, the plus probe has two back perch. And the back perch, if you look carefully on the red and also the green. So why is it necessary to have a two back perch? Now, there are areas whereby the particles are higher than many times expected. The first back perch is to back perch the surface of the sample filter. Once it's pulsed out, because many times when we do a back perch, we are talking about not the amount of flow, but the amount of pressure. We want a pulsating pressure, high pressure. They will pulse in, all right, they pop, and then the particles has been, sometimes the particles still remain in the chamber, all right? After, if you were pulsing a lot of times, we want the particles that in the chamber to be delivered back into the process. All right, so therefore the second back perch comes, the second stage back perch brings all these particles back into the sample pipe and into the process. This is very, very important because you see in the CEMS system, we always talk about response time. In the EPA, whether it's a TUV, he always states that the response time from the calibration, from the probe to the analyzer has a certain specific. So it also varies slightly depending on the countries to countries. So in view of this, when we have to design the sample probe, we have to consider the head space. The head space play a very important part. Imagine if you have a big head space, and then how much a sample or how much calibration gas is to be refreshed, all right? Yeah. So they get a good and a sample representative to the gas analyzer. So having said that, the head space is so important that when we design this probe, many times is that when the particles remove are expanded out from the filter to the chamber, we have a second back perch and bring all these particles back into the process, right? And to deliver it effectively, it's again, we talk about back perch, yeah? Back perch is only a philosophy. Many times we sell the probe without the back perch air tank, and we have no idea how a system integrator delivered the air tank. It is now, look at the air tank here, it is very important that the air tank, between the air tank to the sample probe, it must not, I repeat, it must not longer than 0.5 meter. Keep it as short as possible. The reason is that, I mentioned earlier, it's the pressure, not the how much flow has been wasted. It's not that, it's how much pressure, all right? So they have a very, very big solenoid valve, right? In our case, is that we have a 12 millimeter tubing, and this 12 millimeter tubing incorporated with a specially selected valve, which is again inside this ball valve have a 12 millimeter to prevent any pressure loss. Once the ball valve swing over, the high pressure from the tank rushes out and then injected into the chamber. Okay, first one in the filter, followed by the chamber, and to remove the amount of particles.
Yeah, okay. That's a great description, James, and I would say, yeah, I think, and it's nice to show really the filter. I think we also have a certain we have a special slide for this. Yeah, and it's great to see how easy it is to really change the inside of it. Yeah, yeah. Let me put you on the bigger screen again. Yeah.
Yeah, the design will filter in such a way that we do not need any tools, all right? You only need a glove because it's really hot, 180 degrees.
Yeah.
And after removing the filter, it is important, I repeat why it is important that the filter element, the size against the head space. Reason is because of response time. Also because of calibration, we do not want all the calibration gases rushing out into the process. You see? And it's very unfriendly in terms of environmental saying. Yeah, so this is why. Now, having said that, changing the filter, Yes, this is the biggest filter, 212 centimeters square, the biggest filter surface available in the market.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, if you have a very clean stacks of 50 milligram per meter cube, all right. So this size of filter in general, based on 3 liters per or 3 liters per minute flow, you only require to change this filter element once in a year. All
Yeah,
right.
I think we have an overview later where we recommend what kind of things we need. But James, we are already so late. We have to rush on time. It's like crazy.
But
Maybe
there's
we
so much
short.
thing. Okay, let's move on. There's so
No,
much
no,
things
that's
I like to
fine. Maybe
tell
just
them.
have to say, message here is, even if we choose the basic product line, it comes with the same filter and the same filter surface. But important with the plus is that it's also possible to include back purging system, which will allow you to operate this with even lower. And here, yeah, this is the next thing, which is a pressure reduction valve. Because what happens if, Jemson said that already, the purge itself is important, there's a high pressure, and at the same time you want to protect your analyzer system, and this could happen with one option is the pressure reduction valve, which we can see here. Jemson, only a few words left. I think this is also important when we talk about primary sampling. It's not only the filter chamber, but it's also what is happening in front, and maybe just some words about the sampling probes.
Yeah, so when we choose the sample pipe, right? The sample pipe, we know that it is against the process in corrosive or the temperature. Therefore, we have different materials for different processes. All right. So important things is that we know that when it comes to a corrosion, and we can choose a very expensive like Hastelloy or Cantel, but in the lower temperature, you can choose a PTFE. But one important thing is that you must know that when it comes to high process temperature above 500 degrees, all right, or 400 degrees, what happens is that you must ensure that your flange temperature, all right, must not exceed 200. That means if you have a 400 process temperature or 500 process temperature, it goes all the way into your sample probe. It is important to take note that your O-rings may be damaged. Therefore, it is relatively important not only choosing the sample pipe material correct, but the positioning, all right, and how far it has to be taken into consideration based on your flange design temperature.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that's true. And I think it also shows here this big, this great overview, Jemson, what is the right temperatures for the certain, what is the right material for the certain temperatures? This is how I have to say that.
Yeah.
And I think it
let me add one point. Always add one point. Many of my customers buy probes without buying sample pipe from us. All right, they felt that they can buy a stainless steel locally and put it in. Please bear in mind they are different. The sample pipe of ours is a 316 Ti. All right, it means it's a stainless steel with titanium coating. All right, the powder is coating. That is to reduce the corrosion. Okay, not just purely a sample stainless steel pipe. Yeah. Back to you.
Okay. All right. No, and Jemson, what you just said is, and I think that's a very valuable overview, which helps to decide, okay, what is my dust load? What is my application looking like? And then, having the options of the PSG Plus gas sampling probe that allows you to choose the right one for your selection. Okay. So, Jemson, wow. I think we have 10 minutes left as we started 5 minutes late. The next point, the heated sample line. I think we also said that this is one item sometimes underestimated. But the message we want to give here is the heated sample line. because Jemson, you just said response time or T90 time is a very important issue, a very important topic, and I think even the legal requirements might get stricter on this. And then it comes to certain points. For example, a technology which we are promoting a lot, which is the cut-to-length technology. And the cut-to-length technology allows, first of all, really to reduce the length of the line so that layings like this don't have to be made. And also from an environmental point of view, if you have 10% of your of the length of the line just lying there, I mean, it's a power consumption. It's regarding the CO2 footprint, something you should definitely avoid, right? And therefore, I think it's rich to say when we have an overview of our two worlds, the so-called flex heated sample lines, the handmade heated sample lines, which allow a very low banding radius on the one hand side, but typically are not cut to length technology. The right hand side even allows to shorten these lines, and I think that is a pretty big advantage here, right? What is your favorite line, Jemson?
I would. I always wanted, in a sense that the flex line, which is, it is a much hotter. All right, there is no way to have any cold spots, right? So but the only thing is that we have to consider many times about what is the actual length in the field.
Right.
When the customers buy, is asking for 30 meters, 35 meters. Some customers would prefer to be cut to length, right? This is another variations options for them to consider.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe to give a short overview, because we talk about plus products today. And when we talk about basic products, you will find in our catalog, there's some standard products. Here, this just gives you an idea of what we are capable of to do. That means starting from a single tube on a coil, which can be seamless or welded, going over protection pipes and specials, sometimes with plastics inside. Then we have tube bundles. Jemson, if you consider, for example, the calibration gases, I think there is no need these calibration gases as they are dry, cold and dry, they don't need to be heated, right? And sometimes it might be that there's a location where you have all the calibration cylinders, and then you want to transport them into the analyzer house. So a tube bundle is also something which can play a very important role. And also insulated lines. I remember, Jemson, there's a project not far away from you, from a German company, where we were awarded to deliver many kilometers of lines, and there were, because of your region, there was no heater needed, right? So it was just an insulated line, which helped to transport the probe at the end. What we would like to show here is our configuration matrix. That means you will find the match code in our documentation on our website. Maybe Jonas can be so kind and share here the link to our heated sample line match code, so that you will find this very easy. And there you are so flexible that you can choose, okay, how many process tubes, how many probe tubes, how many what is the material? So you are very flexible to at the end choose the line you want and the line you are looking for. And Jemson, I would still say that is a big advantage from us having this more than 2,500 different solutions available, so that it really fits the right needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe before we end the short session of the heated sample lines with the hybrid line, I think is a it's a newer, it's more an innovative concept here. So sometimes start to rethink your application. Why shouldn't you be able to send the power supply, for example, for the gas sampling probe via the heated sample line? So it is possible to include all of these different items into the heated sample line. That reduces the installation effort, and that allows you to control everything you need from the cabinet. And that can be, I would say, a big advantage. Okay, Jemson. So as we now have shown maybe to summarize shortly, at least the advantages of the extruded heated sample lines, where we have this lower energy consumption. That means lower CO2 emissions, easier installation, and a very robust solution. I think we more or less covered this area quite okay, right? So would you be so kind and tell us, because I think it's also one thing you always said, the overview of the gas cooler. What is the importance here?
I always say that the gas cooler is the heart of the sampling system. Whether you want to have a strong heart or a weak heart, that determines your endurability during the whole process of measurement. All right. So be careful when you choose a gas cooler. Ensure that we have different exchanger. We have, if you will see that the big family of gas cooler, which you are most happy that in next webinar, the next few webinars that we're coming in, we're going to shed more about the gas cooler. Ultimately, the last point I'd like to say is that how to determine a good gas cooler. It is a stable dew point. All right. So because we have no control of the amount of water, the amount of flow, and the amount of gases that are coming in, it is sometimes you sell a cooler. But what you want at the end of the day is a good measurement and a good repeatability of a calibration. In order to have a good measurement and a good repeatability, your gas cooler must have a very stable dew point. Yeah, that is my answer.
Right. Yeah. That is a very experienced answer. Yeah, that is a very good answer. True. Okay, Jemson, let me share here the link, as I said, to our heated sample line. The match code will be also in the chat to the notes here. So we have different heat exchanger principles. Jemson, maybe you can help us giving a short overview of this as well.
Yeah. So in the market, again, from what you see in the gas cooler family, you only see at the box, right? Reality inside is that we are divided into consideration is a process gas cooler or the emission gas cooler.
Right.
We wanted to understand the response time and also other acidity. So therefore, we have a impinger. Some people call it a jack stream. All right, it's the same meaning. Others, we have a cyclone cooler, or we call it a typhoon effect cooler. So simply, they are, in a nutshell, that cooler is not just a cooler. We really need a bit of knowledge to understand them.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. This is very true. Yeah, and maybe something nice to mention here is that the Jetstream technology really is the best compromise from both worlds, so to say. So it allows to have a low SO2 washout rate and at the same time a low and constant outlet dew point. And if you then manage to have a low T90 time, meaning a very short time in the cooler, I think you will reach the Champions League, and this is then finally where a lot of development and R&D activities are heading to. Okay, maybe one word left. When we showed about the basic products, we mainly would offer the compressor solution. We also have Peltier thermoelectric version, and I hope I don't say too much that we will have another situation, or we will have a new product very soon, which I'm very excited to present here. I think in the field of thermoelectric Peltier cooling, there will be also new developments coming up, which helps us to make even the products more compact. Okay, good. So, Jemsen, I think we have some discussion I want to show here, and there were also some questions we should answer because there is some time. I think we should just take some time for the Q&A here. Jemsen, what do you think?
The questions from Adam was, what would we face when the sample pump is relocated before the gas cooler? In other words, he means that the flow comes from the cooler, from the pump first, then the gas cooler. This is something that I strongly discourage. That means avoid doing so. Why? Because the main purpose of the gas cooler is to handle high acid dew point, meaning that the sample heated line has a very high temperature, and we need this high temperature of this acid, above acid dew point, to go into the gas cooler to remove the water. Just imagine if you put a gas sample pump in between, meaning that your gas sample pump handle the high sample temperature? The answer is no. So don't do that. Right? Put the pump behind the gas cooler.
Right.
Next question.
Okay, yeah. That was a very straight and clear answer. You're right. There is a question regarding the heated tube. How long, Jensen? What is the recommendation?
So when the heated tube is, as far as concerned, if you are buying a big drum, we can come up 300 meter. But if you are talking about how long can a heated line at the site, we really talk about the wattage per meter of the heated line. So we come in different wattage from 20 watt per meter all the way to 100 watt per meter. Depends on the type of whether it is the types of heater that we're using and why are you using, depends on the application. In a nutshell, is that we just have to review your power supply. All right. So a power supply that is in the most of the standard that's available in the market, right, in the field or in the junction box is 25 amp. Based on 25 ampere, all right, you can use if it is a for emission, we are running at about 60 watt per meter. You can go up to as stretch all the way up to 60 to 70 meter, depends on the model. Or this is my answer.
Jemsen, maybe the question was regarding the heated tube from the probe.
Oh, the heated tube.
I don't know. It could be, right? It could also be. I have a question. How long recommended using heated tube?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we're talking about a heated tube of the sample probe, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So no, it's the question is how long of the heated tube? As much as is possible. The heated tube is we can reach in the middle of the stacks, but the question is that it is only theory. We have to ask ourselves in practical. Yeah. If a stack is 6 meter in a coal-fired plant, the 6 meter, if you put a tube in as 3 meter, the amount of resonance, that means the high velocity of a 6 meter diameter of a stack as high as 80 to 90 meter, have a velocity of 15 meter per second, minimum 15 meter per second to go all the way up. A 3 meter heated tube will resonate and will broke at the joint. So a
Yeah.
rule of thumb, a rule of thumb is that it must be at least I say at least 0.5 meter from the wall. All right, that means it would be if you can't reach half, you reach 1/3 the length. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb. Okay, Jemson. Again, we committed ourselves to reduce the time here to 30 minutes only. I think we overrun 5 minutes, but let me thank you for this great session. I'm sorry that we had some technical issues, especially for the crowd here. Yeah, I think if you have any questions, Jemson, Jose Luis, Antonio, and obviously me, the entire team, Jonas also mentioned here, feel free to contact our guys to help you in designing the perfect sample gas, your perfect sample handling system. And yeah, I hope we were able to give you a short overview here. And Jemson, I'm excited to have the next session when we talk about ATEX. In the ATEX areas that yeah, I think is also a very interesting area where a lot of knowledge and solutions are required, right? Okay, last word from you, Jemson.
I am looking forward, right? And I saw Adam is very active, and please, Adam, we know each other well. Just give me a call or on the WhatsApp, and then we get ourselves in contact. Yeah, thank you. And
thank you, everyone,
look
for
forward.
watching. Thank you for joining us. Have a nice weekend, Jemson.
You too.
Bye-bye.